Well, a very good morning to you, Urban. Well, I'm out of shot at this moment. As you see there, Oscar Pistorius arriving a day after completing a cross-examination here at the North Gauteng High Court, being whisked in there by two men once again as we continue with Oscar Pistorius's murder trial. Well, already this morning we've seen the forensic geologist arrive, Roger Dixon, who took the stand yesterday after Gerrie Nel had completed his cross-examination of Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius certainly looking very relieved as he left the witness box yesterday, but certainly looking very drained after 7 days of a grilling cross-examination by the state prosecutor. We've also seen some of Riva Steenkamp's friends come through today, who we've not seen inside the court previously. The modeling agency that Riva Steenkamp was associated with, we saw some of those friends of hers and colleagues walk inside this door just a few minutes before you came on air, Urban.
You told us about Oscar's arrival and so forth, and him finishing yesterday with exhausting cross-examination. What's been the sort of mainstream reaction to his period that he spent on the stand?
Well, from the discussions we've been having here outside court, I think we all agree that it certainly has been a very frustrating 7 days for Oscar Pistorius, as he's had to relive the events of what led to him shooting and killing Riva Steenkamp. But speaking to analysts, certainly, they're saying that this certainly has done a lot of damage to Oscar Pistorius's case, in the sense that we've picked up several contradictions in Oscar Pistorius's story about what he says happened on that morning. You recall during cross-examination how he broke down several times. He couldn't remember some of the things that took place when the state prosecutor, Gerrie Nel, was grilling him about the events of that morning. Analysts are basically saying that it was set definitely to be quite a big risk to get Oscar Pistorius on the stand, but the defense had no choice but to put him there for him to relay the version of events. He's been accused over the past 7 days of tailoring his evidence, of even lying about the events of what happened on that day, and having selective amnesia about what to tell the court, critical aspects of the case that Oscar Pistorius says he does not remember. So really, it's been a very tough 7 days for Oscar Pistorius. Analysts are now saying that the defense will really need to pull up its socks if it wants to keep Oscar Pistorius out of jail. We saw now with the introduction of the forensic geologist, Roger Dixon, where now the defense is trying to poke some holes in the testimony of some of these state witnesses. Yesterday we already saw that Roger Dixon, who did sound tests and light tests at Oscar Pistorius's home, is now trying to deal with the aspect of whether Dr. Stipp, who you will know was one of the state witnesses, what he testified was hearing sounds coming from Oscar Pistorius's home and saying that there was a light that was on, so they would want to derail that testimony and also discredit the evidence or the testimony that Dr. Stipp gave about the sounds and whether Dr. Stipp could actually see what he claims he saw from the direction of his home.
Chriselda, just tell us about the next phase of the trial. What do we expect? And then also there'll be a ruling on an adjournment this morning. When and how long do we expect that to last?
Well, this morning we're expecting forensic geologist Roger Dixon to continue with his testimony, to give details. As you saw yesterday, he was already giving details about the magazine rack, how Riva Steenkamp could have sustained the wounds on her back, and basically going back to the toilet cubicle. We're expecting him to continue with that. Then he, of course, will be cross-examined by Gerrie Nel. And then afterwards, I'm sure we'll get another witness to be called, but we don't know if that will happen or whether there will be a postponement. Yesterday, you will recall, the state had put in an application to have the case postponed later this week. We're expecting that postponement to take place tomorrow, Thursday. And then Judge Masipa said she would apply her mind yesterday and give a reply this morning about how long the case will be postponed for, but we're expecting 2 weeks. Maybe we'll return shortly before the election or after.
Thank you very much, Chriselda Lewis. That's Chriselda Lewis at the High Court giving us another update. Now, just to recap, a former police forensics expert will continue his evidence